What is going on, Crisis Actors? It is episode 1062 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my guest co-host today in the studio. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Olivia. I am here. I am back. Yes, Tuesday I told you guys I'd be back. It feels like forever because the last day has been just a very long...
How so?
It just feels like it's been 3 days for whatever reason. Maybe it's the fact that this week...
It's a short week, too, so it's a weird...
I'm thrown off. Does it throw you off when...
Yes.
Okay, because I keep thinking it's Wednesday, you guys. Almost forgot I was cat sitting because I was like, oh, it starts Thursday. And
Today is Thursday, yes.
But I was like thinking of it like I was just filling in for Mary on a Wednesday. Like I wasn't even thinking about it as like, oh, it's a regular Thursday. Mm-hmm. It's Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Thursday. And since Shane's not here to say it, happy Thrashing Thursday, everybody.
Exactly.
This is our last Thrashing Thursday without our Thrasher, hopefully.
Yes, the hope is that Phil will be back next week. I will bombard him with the question next week. Perhaps on Monday I will ask him, assuming that he's back. We have a $20 super chat here from Katie. Thank you so much. She says, hello, Brett and Olivia. I do think that music guy who came out as gay after 15 years is selfish. Why get married to a woman at all? Take him for every dollar, woman.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty messed up. It's one of those things where, like, are you actually, I don't even know if he's actually, and of course she's being supportive because she's in the public eye. She has to be, but I can't, like, if you 15 years from now came out as gay, I'd be like, yeah, right. But two, I'd be like,
you can't, she has to support him.
No, I know. That's the problem. It's like, even if she doesn't support him, she has to support him.
The only situation in which she wouldn't have to support him is if he came out as like, I feel unfulfilled with you and I want to be with another woman. But coming out as a different sexual identity means that, you know, she has to support him lest she be called a bigot.
Right, that's the point.
Thankfully, they don't have kids, which we fixed our error on that like midway through the segment.
They don't have kids.
They do
that's
not
good.
have kids.
That's very good. Yeah. But that's still for her. She could have had kids with somebody else who was going to stay with her for her whole life, and that's just, it breaks my heart for her. She's probably hurting quite a bit. She's probably grieving what she thought was a good marriage for the rest of her life. He looks like, what's the guy from Almost Paradise?
I said the same thing.
That's
Christian Kane.
Okay,
yep.
He looks like Christian Kane.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Because I didn't even read the story when I said that to you the other day. When I said that to you, remember a couple nights ago, I said, oh, that guy kind of looks like the guy from Almost Paradise. And I couldn't think of his name. And then we went on with our day.
He's the guy from Leverage and Librarians and Angel.
Yes, but I know him Almost Paradise. I mean, I know him from all those things.
You know him from Leverage.
Yeah, but for the first thing that popped in my head was
Elliot.
Almost Paradise. Elliot, yeah. So I was like, oh, the guy from Librarians and Almost Paradise, and he looks like him.
Yes, he does.
He does.
I think the bandana is doing a lot of the heavy lifting. The bandana and the hat,
maybe.
or I'm sorry, the bandana and the hair.
Are you gonna put them on your list of like the archetypes that look the same?
No, because they look similar. The archetype thing isn't that they look alike. It's that they're almost like Ryan Gosling and Jake Gyllenhaal functionally don't look alike at all, but they're the same person.
Sure.
To me.
Okay.
They're objectively the same person.
Well, what do we have to get into today?
We got a bunch of stuff to talk about, guys. But before we get started and I go off on too much of a tangent here, hit the like button on this episode, please, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already, whether on YouTube or on Rumble. You should like, you should share, you should subscribe, and you should argue with people in the comments section about whatever it is that we might be talking about. And we got some fun stuff on the docket today. You know, one of the funny things about this job, ladies and gentlemen, is that sometimes the stories just appear. They just come to you and they just seem to work out perfectly. We have several of those today. One of those that is perhaps not that, but is actually news, is Supergirl. The movie looks to be cooked at the box office. I know it sucks to hear the lack of positivity, especially if you're looking for good news these days. But objectively speaking, we're going to look at some of the box office tracking data. And given the budget for the film, given the fact that this is the second film in a new universe that's supposed to be part of this massive new franchise, it just doesn't look all that great. And I do believe that the fatigue around superheroes, perhaps it's just bad movie fatigue. Perhaps it's just these aren't the characters that people know very well. Fatigue, whatever it is. We'll get into it a little bit because the tracking numbers are not great for Supergirl, which comes out on June 26th. We're also going to talk about several stories related to Taylor Swift wedding drama, which makes my wife the happiest person on earth.
Maybe not the wedding drama part, but the Taylor Swift part.
Yeah.
You guys know I love to talk about Taylor Swift. I love her.
Yeah. there's two stories. One is about whether or not she will be changing her name. Is she going to be Taylor Kelsey? Is she going to be Taylor Kelsey Swift? Is she going to be Taylor Swift Kelsey?
Is he going to be Travis Swift?
We'll have to wait and find out. So we'll get into that. Also, there was a furious debate going on X about what is the phrase? No ring, no bring. Is that what it is?
Something like that.
And basically the idea is like you don't get a +1 unless you're married.
Stupid, but we'll get into it.
We'll get into it. Also, there was another survey that was done. My favorite thing in the world, guys, is these surveys where they ask a bunch of people some questions, and then we get to talk about it. They've asked a bunch of Americans how they feel about child-free dining, and that does seem to be a popular growing sentiment amongst the American public, and conservatives in this space are saying that this is a sign of cultural decline due to the birth rates and a lack of respect for the next generation. So
if you want to give us your opinion before the segment, you should vote in the poll, ladies and gentlemen. We have a poll in the YouTube chat right now. Should restaurants offer child-free dining? Yes or no? Since that segment is a little bit later, you guys should vote on it so that we can see what you guys say when we get into it.
We will have. We're sitting right now at 59% of you saying yes, they should in fact offer that. So, if you are ready to go, we can go. Are you ready?
Born ready.
Okay, you are still born ready.
Born ready.
All right, Supergirl, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the upcoming release, which is, I believe, June 26th. We are now getting early box office tracking data, and unfortunately for this film, it does not look all that promising for the movie. Now, I have decently high hopes that I will have fun at the movie. I had a lot of fun at Superman. It's not a movie that I would rewatch, but I enjoyed it enough. I think that comparing it to Man of Steel seems almost superfluous. It doesn't seem important, given the fact that they're such vastly different portrayals of Superman. But there was a lot of comparison being made to the box office between those films because they ended up in similar spheres. I think Superman finished like $618 million. Man of Steel, $680 million in 2013 money, which is, of course, a lot more in 2025. Would have been a lot more in 2025 when Superman came out. But when it comes to Supergirl, your biggest comparison would be the television show. And right now, the tracking data just doesn't paint the rosiest picture of the way things are looking right now. This article is from the Washington Times, and basically the numbers that they get into are pretty standard. We're looking at a $175 million budget. You add in about $75 million for marketing. That estimate is on the low end, given the fact that most of the time when you include marketing budget, it's like 1.5 times its budget, which came out to more than $75 million. You could make the argument that for a movie like Supergirl, it's going to go less in the marketing department than, say, a Superman, because they're just not going to have the faith in it or want to push it the way they would one of their seminal characters, like a Batman, Superman, anybody from from the Trinity. They're going to get more of a push. Wonder Woman would get more of a push, in my opinion, which means that if you look at the numbers for the break-even point for this film, if you were to use the standard formula, meaning 2.5 times just its budget, you're looking at about $437 million. If you look at the whole of the marketing and you added that into there, which is another formula you can use, it's about $625 million. A lot of people are using this $500 million number, which is the budget plus the prospective marketing at 2 times its box office, because they split the theaters. They split half with theaters, but the issue here is that most people don't use that. They do 2.5 times its budget because so much money goes into those things. If you're looking to clear that, this is the problem. The movie is projecting to open to about $47 million to $65 million. Comparatively, what you're looking at are the Marvels numbers or Black Adam numbers. With the Marvels, it opened to $46 million in 2023, which means it finished at about $206 million only. Again, 2023 money. Maybe that movie went into 2024. But then you have Black Adam, which finished on the higher end of that scale, making $67 million. And the problem is, it's still only finished with $393 million. Oddly enough, the same as what I was talking about on Tuesday. That's where Solo finished roughly in 2018 numbers. So $393 million. If this movie was to hit $400 million, it's not breaking even on that amount there. And then you look at what's going on right now with this upcoming A24 movie, Backrooms, is coming out, and it's going to supposedly debut to a studio best for A24 or something like that, with $45 million, spending way less than what they would end up spending for a movie like Supergirl. And then Clayface is going to have completely different expectations. And then you have movies that are out right now, like Devil Wears Prada 2, Michael, and Obsession. They are not superhero fare, yet all of them are overperforming at the box office. This is what they were saying from the Washington Times. Early tracking projections for Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, have drawn concern from box office analysts about the film's commercial prospects, with its domestic debut potentially falling well below last year's DCU opener, Superman. According to box office theory projections cited by industry observers, the Warner Brothers release, which is set to open on June 26th, is currently forecasted to debut domestically between 47 and 65 million. The range would put it numerically between The Marvels, which opened to 46 million in 2023, on a reported budget of $220 million, and Black Adam, which opened to $67 million in 2022. My goodness, I can't believe it's been that long since Black Adam came out. We actually reviewed that on the channel. Supergirl's budget has not been disclosed, but like I said, the insiders are saying $175 million. So one thing that they do have going for them is 175 is far less than the budgets that they had reported for both Black Adam and the Marvels, which were both over $200 million, which makes it a lot harder to recoup your investment. But like I said, if you're tracking on the same path as Black Adam at the high end of the estimate, meaning if you're giving them all of the benefit of the doubt, you're looking to finish in the $400 million mark, which just isn't anywhere near profitable. They go on and say, as the second theatrical release in the DC Studios Chapter 1 slate, overseen by writer-director James Gunn and co-chairman Peter Safran. Well, yes, it's a James Gunn movie that's not even directed by James Gunn, in a James Gunn world, in a James Gunn universe, with characters loved by James Gunn. The film carries added weight. Puck's Scott Mendelson has reported that the industry executives would likely consider a global gross of around $425 million to be quote-unquote good enough.
They're not even striving for greatness anymore.
No, they're saying,
this is
enough.
the problem with modern movies, regardless if they're in a franchise or a standalone movie. They're not striving for greatness. They're not striving for a movie that is so great that people love. They are striving for good enough. And that isn't good enough when it comes to what audiences want to see and the drive they want behind it. So the fact that they're saying, good enough, that already doesn't bode well.
They said, it says they would prefer the film to clear $500 million. Profitability calculations for studio tentpoles also account for marketing costs, tax incentives, and downstream revenue. Yeah, so one thing they do have going for it is it's very clear that once the movie goes to streaming, it will eventually be leased out to the likes of Netflix, and they'll make more money on the back end. But that's something that you used to see, and we've talked about this endlessly on the channel. Matt Damon spoke at length in the past about the idea of how a mid-budget movie made its money back, meaning that it wasn't expected to make a ton of money necessarily in the theaters. It made a lot of its money on the back end with DVD sales or pay-per-view, which is now considered pay VOD, stuff like that. And then you can talk, I suppose, a little bit about whether or not Millie Alcock's comments about, she's been called out for some stuff where they feel like she's pushing back on the fans. We've covered that on this channel. I do think that some of it was a little bit overblown, or the quotes were not necessarily taken out of context, but given the way that they were done, weren't the worst thing in the world. But the problem is, it doesn't matter. Like, perception is reality, and it will end up hurting it if people are making headlines that are like woke backlash to Supergirl movie. And then you have this article here from Cosmic Book News, which talks about the Supergirl backlash being real. Fan interest drops in its rating tracking numbers. The latest numbers from Quorum, shared via Puck News, have Supergirl holding at 53% awareness, but interest has now dropped 2 points from 48 to 46%. So people are aware that this movie is coming out. They are just not all that interested in seeing it, I guess. The Quorum tracks movie awareness and interest through audience surveys, giving an early look at which upcoming films people would be likely to know and want to see. The awareness numbers staying flat is not the worst news for DC Studios and Warner Brothers, but the interest drop is where things get interesting, especially with Supergirl now about a month away. And it's now dropping below Mortal Kombat 2 numbers. And if you guys know, Mortal Kombat 2 cost less to make and is not doing the numbers that they wanted it to at the box office, even if they do end up making it a trilogy. Supergirl previously looked to be in decent shape compared to Mortal Kombat 2. The early tracking had Supergirl at 53% awareness and 48% interest, which put it ahead of Mortal Kombat 2's 48% awareness and in line with its 48-point interest just before release. Now Supergirl's awareness is still at 53, but interest, which is what matters, has slipped 2 points to 46. Mortal Kombat 2 has massively underperformed at the box office, and now it may not even hit $200 million worldwide, which is a complete disaster. That is their framing here. The movie's tracking also softened as releases approached. Look, and then they talk about how the backlash is not helped. The drop followed the recent backlash surrounding Millie Alcock's comments about fans. She previously drew heat from comments about fans and trolls and online criticism, with some fans taking her remarks as another example of a Hollywood actress attacking the audience before the movie's release, similar to the likes of Brie Larson and Rachel Zegler. I don't think that is the fairest comparison. I don't think any of these people, we all know Brie Larson is on her much lauded redemption arc, but this is not a Rachel Zegler situation, not in the same context by a mile. For DC Studios, the public support makes sense internally. Alcock is a star of the movie, and Peter Safran has come out in support of her, saying that she thinks that she is doing great. They have some time to turn it around. We will have to wait and see. But right now, I think more than anything, that there is just this sense that the tide has turned when it comes to the movies that are going to kill it at the box office. It's almost like we're looking more for surprise hits than expecting any of these big budget movies to do well. Now, Spider-Man Brand New Day is going to make a ton of money at the box office. Avengers Doomsday is going to make a ton of money at the box office. But Supergirl is looking to underperform. And right now, the more interesting example right this second is the fact that He-Man is coming out in the next... We're going to see it next week. And there's flat interest for it. It's now projected that Scary Movie 6 is going to outperform it at the box office. And I was telling somebody about this last night. We were at a mall on Saturday. We were at a mall on Saturday.
Yes.
And it was literally called Eternia Collectibles, based around He-Man. He-Man collectibles everywhere, merch everywhere. Not a single piece of branded merch or promotion from the upcoming movie. It's literally like a collectible store with the name with a He-Man name attached to it, Eternia, and they're not even advertising the new movie. That's where it feels like we're at with the big budget tentpoles. Spider-Man is an anomaly. Spider-Man is omnipresent in the culture. He will always make money. You can gauge Spider-Man interest by the fact that they still sell endless amounts of Spider-Man pajamas for young kids and stuff, right? Spider-Man will always be popular. Every other superhero, not necessarily so much, and they're still trying to make it work with these names that are known by the nerds, but not necessarily part of the general cultural conversation. And it might be time that they accept that we are past the superhero boom where any movie could make $1 billion because you were riding the hype train, and get back to working with characters that general audiences know, and you might have better luck next time.
Yes, and before we move on here, I would be remiss not to give a shout out to the Discord, specifically my favorite insular group of friends, because you don't want me to say that word on that channel. Love you guys. VIP chat is great. I told them I'd give them a shout out on PCC, and in return, they're going to watch the episode.
Okay.
Anything to keep viewership up. Also, I do love those guys. If you're not in the Discord, I'll shout it out at the end. You guys should go and join.
Yep. All right, go and join, guys. I see a chat here from G. Alvarez who says, Spider-Man Noir is out. Yes, it is. I watched the first episode. You can't even call it a pilot episode anymore, but I did watch it last night. I got home. I did IRL last night, and I didn't get home till midnight. So I got home at midnight last night. I ate, and then I watched the first episode of Spider-Man Noir. And then I tried watching the second episode, and either because I was just too tired, whatever the reason may be, I turned it off. It didn't really necessarily hold my interest. It might have been just because it was 1:30 in the morning and I'd been working all day and I was exhausted. But my first impressions of Spider-Man Noir were that I tried watching it in both color and black and white. I watched the first half in black and white and the second half of the episode in color. Surprisingly enough, I enjoyed the color viewing experience a little bit more. I thought it added to it, even though obviously I think it's meant to be watched in black and white. And it was vaguely interesting. I enjoyed Nicolas Cage being Nicolas Cage, doing his attempt at a transatlantic accent. And I enjoyed the way they have kind of turned the Spider-Man mythos on its head, having it be his great love, Ruby, who used the phrase "with great power, with great power comes great responsibility." All of that stuff. It was, interestingly enough, I'll watch episode 2 tonight with fresh eyes. Perhaps I will like it. I know, I am not a noir connoisseur by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm aware enough of the genre. I've watched enough of modern television satirizing or paying homage to the genre to recognize some of the tropes. And the fact that he's a private investigator in it is obviously kind of interesting, and I like that part a lot. And it's, at the very least, if you're looking for something interesting to check out, they dropped all the episodes at once. Go and check out the first episode. It's a little bit, it's something different. You may find it enjoyable. I don't know if I'm going to watch the whole thing. It definitely wasn't the type of thing where I watched episode 1 and I was so locked in that I had to watch episode 2. But, if you're a Nicolas Cage fan, it might be worth checking out just for that reason. So
we have a 20 here from Brian, also from the Discord. Hi, Brian. He said, child-free dining doesn't go far enough. I want a Zoomer-free dining experience.
So just...
so I'm not allowed.
Restaurant Mog.
Am I like an exception to this?
We'll be millennial maxing.
Yes, I think he wants millennial and Gen X maxing. What if I want a boomer free?
We've had enough diversity, equity, and inclusion. It is time for exclusion.
Make it stop.
It's time for exclusion. That's where we're going here, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Let us move on. Let's talk about death by chicken nugget, or what could have happened.
Yes, so there was an influencer named Alan Farrell who went to Cedar Point, which is in Ohio, where he filmed himself violating a strict safety rule with chicken nuggets on a 93-mile-per-hour roller coaster. He went on the Millennium Force, which is at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. It is a 310-foot tall roller coaster. It's a big roller coaster, okay? I've seen this thing. I think I've ridden this thing before, actually, once or twice in my life. And as someone who doesn't do roller coasters anymore, I think I rode this in high school. And the Cedar Point has said that they do not condone the behavior, but the larger conversation goes to what behavior is okay. So the story goes that he uploaded a video of himself violating this rule. It can hit up to 93 miles per hour.
I have the video here.
Yeah, so let's watch the video really quick so you guys can understand what we're talking about.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
A 10-piece nugget while on a roller coaster? What is wrong with you?
If anyone asks, I do not have chicken nuggets in my underwear. All right?
That guy's just like...
He's like, I don't get paid
The
enough
guy's
for
like,
this.
I hate you. Yeah.
He's like, you suck.
Oh, fuck.
Okay, my first critique, before we get into anything... If we're not going to be angry at him... So let's operate under two premises here. One is that this is very, very bad and he shouldn't be doing it because it's dangerous.
Yes.
Okay, from a multitude of reasons. Operating purely under the premise of him trying to complete this challenge, eating the nuggets on the upswing doesn't count. Okay? There isn't
part.
even any resistance here.
That
Okay,
part.
continue. Sorry about that. He could die, bro.
He could choke.
Rip to whoever's behind him.
Yeah.
I feel.
He could throw up too.
So he could throw up and hit people with his throw up.
Yep.
He could drop the box of chicken nuggets, which could hit somebody. And if you're starting at 93 miles per hour, it's going to end a lot faster than that.
Yep.
The sauce, people behind you. He could have choked and died. Okay, he could have choked on the chicken nugget and died. So the story sounds ridiculous on its face, which is what made me click on it to begin with. But the real conversation here is the fact that influencers do really stupid stuff for clicks, basically, for clicks. Did I click on his content? No, I've clicked on other people's content talking about this.
I have like an innate fear, you know, like when you're brushing your teeth or you're eating with a fork, of like tripping, falling forward, and it just goes down the out the back of your neck.
Yeah.
Right? There was like a Inside Edition that had like a video of this happening to someone when I was young, and it scarred me for life. Kind of in the same vein, when you watch the videos that were like somebody got sucked into the escalator.
Yes.
I was never afraid of going up escalators. I was afraid of going down escalators and falling for the most part. An equilibrium thing. But, you know, he could have had that chicken nugget just go straight out the back of his neck.
Right. And that could have been really bad. Okay, no, but like it could have actually caused problems. Not just for him, because honestly, if he's the one doing this, do I really care what happens to him specifically? No.
It's traumatizing to everybody that's there.
I'm not saying, I'm getting to that part.
Yes.
When I say what happens to him, he made that decision, but there are other people, there are children, there are elderly people. That goes flying. It's like you say, dropping a feather from a certain height could potentially kill somebody because of a penny, right? A penny could kill somebody.
I mean, this is like
if
a
you
thing.
Drop
like
it from
multiple people have died from like hot dogs falling out of windows in New York City.
That's insane.
So I used to have this discussion with a friend about the idea of like buckling up as the passenger in a car. Like if it's not your car. Like, do you really like? And you're like, well, I don't want to wear my seatbelt. This is obviously a ridiculous concept because I think most people wear their seatbelts these days, anyways. But it's like you don't do it for you then. Like, do it for the fact that you don't want your buddy, if you get into a car crash and die, to feel the guilt of what happened to you. You know, for being in the car with you when you died or something like that.
Yeah.
Act safe for the benefit not just of yourself, but to the benefit of others, because that's what a good citizen should do.
Right, and this isn't the first time that we have seen any of these influencers bothering other people, not just bothering them, but also potentially harming them.
Yep.
So if you guys remember Mizzy from the UK who was breaking into people's houses, or if you remember the incident that happened in, I believe, Virginia, where a guy shot a IRL streamer who was using like either IRL streaming or using the meta glasses. And there was an incident in my hometown of a guy going around to women trying to hit on them and try to like coerce them into going on a date with him, all while wearing these glasses so he could upload it later. And there were plenty of times women were just clearly uncomfortable. It was so bad, and it was at a local mall that I grew up going to, where I messaged my best friend and was like, you might want to watch out for this. Guy lost his job eventually because he was a professor, and he like lost his job for doing this when they found out who he was. But point being, it sounds insane, okay? You're talking about, I'm thinking, you know what? I'm going to correct myself here. I was thinking the feather and the penny, they drop at the same velocity is what I was thinking of. Not both killing somebody. Yeah. They do drop at the same velocity though, but the penny would kill somebody if it hits them at the right angle. Same thing with the chicken nugget. It sounds insane, but that thing becomes deadly super fast. So does the box. That goes for any loose items. There's a policy at Cedar Point that says items must be safely secured in cargo pants or cargo pockets, a waist pack, a bin on the side of the ride platform, left in a locker, or with a non-rider. On the ride he was on specifically, it said loose items that are not able to be stored in waist packs or cargo pockets are not permitted in line and must be stored in a locker or with a non-rider. So they don't even let you put it in there because it's so bad. There's another ride at Cedar Point. I don't remember which one, but there is one that you have to go through like a detector to see if there's anything in your pockets.
Makes sense to me.
That's how unsafe it is, because if you go upside down, if you go around a fast turn, it's harmful to other people on the ride, it's harmful to you, it's harmful, and they're liable, right? They would be, yes, you go in, you sign a waiver, whatever, but they are still technically liable if something were to happen to someone on that ride. And their job is to make sure people aren't. Now that worker could have gotten in so much trouble because he said
he blew up that dude's spot because the kid was just like, bro,
and the kid was probably like, is that a joke? Like, he had no idea, and he probably doesn't want to be the guy that stops the whole roller coaster and the whole line for a chicken nugget.
Yep.
Because what if it's not actually there? Because it's such a ridiculous statement.
Correct.
Why would you believe that? So this isn't the first time. It won't be the last time that these YouTubers are doing really stupid stuff. Actually, I don't know if he's a TikToker or a YouTuber. I don't
He's
even
on
know.
Instagram at the
He's on
very least,
Instagram.
so.
I don't know what his bag is. I don't really care. It's stupid. First of
Imagine you're
all,
the
a
person
disgrace to
behind
chicken
him.
nuggets.
Imagine you're the person behind him. Like, I don't know if he was in
And
the
the
last
sauce.
row and the sauce just hits you in the face.
And that looks like, let me go back and look at that one. It looks like maybe buffalo, which is spicy if it gets in your eye.
Yeah.
Or like a sweet, anything, but it kind of looks like a honey.
And he throws up on you.
Yeah,
from
or he
all
throws
this.
up, or he chokes and dies because they don't know he's choking.
People in the chat are mentioning mental asylums. Here's the problem, though. This isn't mental illness. This is
No.
clout chasing.
This is
actually more nefarious than mental illness.
These people are just dumb.
The second that there's a reward system in place for something like this, i.e. views, sponsorships, clout, it becomes less about mental illness and more about somebody just willing to do absurd things that put other people potentially at risk for the sake of internet clout, which nobody in the real world actually wants because it's gross.
Yeah. And it's also just why I don't get how we've gone from this where it's like the Tide Pod challenge, right? So that harmed obviously someone trying to eat a Tide Pod, but what it really harmed, or didn't really harm, didn't really harm was maybe the families if someone like died, but it doesn't affect everybody else around you in a way of like chucking a Tide Pod at somebody or throwing something at somebody or whatever that might be. Being a nuisance streamer, whether it's just going up to people and being like, oh, hey, you want to go on a date with me? And you're like, I'm married. Oh, I don't care. Like, that's what they do. They continue doing it. And you got to see people here in the chat the comments were saying like, oh, bro is like dripping, That is so dumb. That is so dumb. Like,
there's probably an age gap here with the people that find this stuff funny and not.
it's got to be kids.
Yeah.
It's got to be kids. People are saying, how funny would it be he gets banned from Cedar Point after eating a chicken nugget on a roller coaster? I mean, yeah, don't do that.
There was a comment on it from someone, let me see here. Yeah, from someone, an account called Attraction Spot. Looks like maybe they do like stuff with theme parks and stuff like that. It says, Cedar Point knows you did this and doesn't like that you violated their park rules. You could be banned for this. This is a safety hazard, LOL.
Yeah, and they should be. This is why if you go like this on a roller coaster, they will stop the roller coaster. There was somebody one time, we were at Cedar Point of all things. I went on the mine ride or something with my stepmom, the one that's like a little mine cart, and someone on the roller coaster was recording like this, and we were going up the first initial, and they stopped the roller coaster, came over and confiscated that person's phone.
Yeah.
And we were stuck for like 10 minutes in the blazing heat because of this.
90% of the comments here are positive. 90% of the comments here think it's funny.
It's not. Like, I'm so sick of this. Oh, it's fun. It's hilarious. It's just selfish. You're not thinking about anybody else but yourself and your clicks. And again, a phone is harder. Yes, it's going to be more dangerous, but anything at the right velocity could be deadly. And 93 miles per hour as a starting velocity is insane. And then gravity pulls it down, it gets faster.
Oh, he must be a Michigan guy. He's got a Detroit Red Wings tattoo. He's one of yours.
We are, you know what, on behalf of the state of Michigan, on behalf of the state of Michigan, he is no longer a Michigander.
Wait, there's also like a Canadian, like what looks like a Canadian.
Oh, that's even worse.
Like a maple leaf up there.
That's even worse.
I don't know where this guy is from.
Maybe he's trying to like cosplay as a Michigander just to get us in trouble.
That's possible. I'm like looking for
Or maybe that's just his hockey
now.
team. Like, you never know. People.
Oh
live
yeah,
in-
because he's got a Detroit Pistons tattoo as well. So
Don't disgrace
he
my
is
home like that.
Michigander.
Okay, he is
Your greatest
he is
export.
a disgrace. I am the greatest export. He is a disgrace.
Not the 90s Detroit Red Wings?
Okay, that's a pretty good one too, but that doesn't exist anymore.
Fedorov,
Here I am,
Yzerman,
maybe.
any of those guys?
Okay, they're great, but here I am.
Okay.
I'm the greatest export to this
Guys,
situation.
Is Olivia the greatest export that Detroit or Michigan? I mean, not Eminem.
Okay, okay, you know what? you know what? To disgrace your wife on camera.
Hey, I'm just being realistic here.
Chat, can you have my back?
In my opinion, you're the greatest export from Michigan, but I can't say that everybody else is going to agree with me. I'm biased here.
Yeah, this is true. But look. I'm the greatest export. And if it wasn't me, it'd be my father, who is an incredible man, but he still
Jimbo
lives,
is a fantastic.
He still lives in Michigan, so he can't, therefore isn't an expert.
That's true.
Or an export. He is an expert in a lot of things, but not an export of Michigan.
Oh, Little Caesars.
No. Okay.
Yes!
No!
Yes!
I will, look, if it's between me and this dude who's eating chicken nuggets on a roller coaster.
Oh, yeah. I take you every time.
Yeah, well, you're biased, Chad. If you'll take me, I'll take it. Look, all kidding aside, there is a lot of great people from Michigan. This one is not. We don't claim him. He's not one of ours. He is probably a Gretchen Whitmer voter, and that tells me everything I need to know.
He's not a voter at all.
No, you know these people vote. He probably goes,
He is not a voter.
He does this. He goes, more
This
weed.
guy is... You understand that a huge swath of the American public doesn't vote. He doesn't even vote ironically.
If this guy votes, he would vote for Whitmer.
He does not
Say
vote.
what you want. Say what you want. Okay, Little Caesars. I know chat's going to be... Hungry Howie's is really good, too. I think that's more regional.
Is
Little
Tim
Caesars
Allen
is
from
fun.
Michigan?
Yes. Okay,
Oh.
you know what? He can take that crown from me. If anyone can, it's going to be him. I do love Tim Allen. He once wore my college's sweatshirt on Home Improvement. Fun fact of the day, he wore... I can say this now because I don't go there anymore. He wore an Aquinas College, very small college, by the way. You guys should go and be like, review, 5 out of 5, because Olivia came from here. If one of you do that, I will laugh very hard. We have another 20 here from Nate D. Will. I do not have your back. You said the best part of marrying Brett was dancing with Mary. Shame. Also, you didn't get the Michael Jackson reference that one time. Shame. Okay, well, I think that if any of you could see Mary dancing in her natural state of being, having fun and dancing, you would also agree with me. It's incredible. There is no one else I'd rather dance to Justin Bieber with than Mary. My wedding day was phenomenal, but
we're going to talk more about weddings later on. We got more to get into. Cringe or cute?
Cringe, because I want to preface what it is.
Okay. All right.
So,
we will do the cringe.
You guys should have the context of the fact that this is a summer camp for adults. Dead serious, like a sleepaway camp for adults.
Like not old people, just like
adults, like me and you.
Adults.
Okay. Which makes this even worse.
Okay, here we go. It says camp icebreakers, but make it fun.
Happy honor pony all through the town. Run, my baby, back to back to back. My baby, side to side to side. My baby, all through the town. Here comes Tina on her pony. Here comes Tina on her pony. Here comes Tina on her pony all through the town. Run, my baby. Here comes Abby on her pony.
Here comes on her pony. Bop, bop, bop. Yes. There you go. That's what it is. Wish you guys could see Brett. He has it on me because he's stressed out right now. The glasses haven't come off, but they're about to. I fear if this would have gone longer, the glasses would come off. And then I went to this account and I looked more. And when I tell you guys, they are proud to have it's a theater camp. No duh. But these have to be theater kids. I just saw it in the chat. They are theater kids. They're theater adults.
Okay, so it's like the theme is grown up musical theater camps. Let your
inner child something. Yeah. That's the cringiest part. It's let your inner child. Now, if this was a video of a bunch of Girl Scouts, there we go, Girl Scouts doing this, it'd be kind of cute, right? It's Girl Scouts. It's kids. That's cute. They're doing a little, but would you rather, this is my question, would you rather, and chat, you can answer this too, would you rather this or one fun fact about yourself as an icebreaker?
If those were my only options.
Don't say you would end yourself. I know him too well. You have to say a fun fact about yourself, or you have to do this and it's recorded.
Fun fact.
Fun fact, right? Yeah, there we go. See, putting everything into perspective here on PCC. Let's get to cute of the day so we can all wipe that away from our memories.
The thing is I'm such a live and let live person And then I see that stuff, and
You're like, maybe not.
like
Maybe there's limits.
I think the problem is this job has corrupted me in a sense, which is like I'm a live and let live person, but then these things are foisted upon me, and I'm forced to look at them. And I didn't see a single dude there.
Oh, there were dudes.
Was there dudes? I can't tell if that's worse or bad.
It's worse. It's arguably way worse.
Okay. All right. Well, whatever. All right. I'm moving on because I got nothing clever to add here. All right. Cue to the day. This one's fantastic. This one's from Mark. It says 1 week old, 1 year old. Her name is Tiny, short for tinnitus.
Hi, Tinnitus.
Because that's what you get when she barks.
Aw.
Weight 3 pounds 10 ounces. 6th generation Jack Russell Maltese mix. Bonus pick wearing her raincoat.
What a cutie patootie.
Wait, hold on. Let me go. And then look at this one.
Oh, baby. Shut up. Look how little.
I knew you'd love that one.
Look how little. Well, look, if it's raining, she doesn't want to get. I get it. Like, she needs her coat, right? To say she or he. I'm sorry. Was it she? She needs it sometimes. As much as Brett hates clothing on animals, sometimes they need it. We see horses with coats on all the time out here.
That's different somehow to me because they actually live outside, right? They live
in
outside.
barns too, but yes, or like a stable.
Yes. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on. Taylor Swift's wedding to Travis Kelce is coming up, and there is a whole bunch of wedding-related drama. Who's going to change their name? Are either of them going to change their name? Who's going to be invited to the wedding? What do you think?
Well, let's see what page 6 has to say. From page 6, we have Travis Kelce gave a sign that he and Taylor Swift are changing their last names after getting married. The NFL athlete liked an Instagram post on Tuesday from the broadcast, it doesn't matter, in which the host discussed if Swift will change her last name to Kelce after tying the knot. A guest on the podcast noted that Swift was, quote, way more globally famous than Kelce.
That is true.
And that Kelce would have to change his name. The host joked that Travis Swift was a more fitting name for Kelce, but Taylor Kelce also sounded good. They landed on the two hyphenating their last name to Swift Kelce.
So the first thing I thought of, or I shouldn't say the first thing I thought of, Aaron Taylor Johnson is a combination of his last name and his wife's last name. And there was actually a lot of examples in Hollywood history of this happening. Alexa Panavega, who's kind of famous in conservative circles, her and her husband, I don't remember which order it was, but they combined their last names because his name's Carlos Panavega. I don't know if he was Pena and she was Vega, and then they put him together, or if he was Vega and she. The point is, they put both of their names together because they were both actors in front of the camera and became one name. Now, no person in their right mind who helps Taylor Swift make any financial decisions would ever let her start to hyphenate her name on her actual work.
Right. Well, yeah, obviously her stage name will always be Taylor Swift. That doesn't mean that she can't be legally Taylor Kelce.
You're on the spot right now. Nothing to do with her public life, with her professional life. Should she change her last name to Kelce?
Yes. Yes, you should always change your last name.
Tell everybody how excited you were to change your last name.
The process. Okay, first of all, excited because it means I'm married to this man. Yes.
Well,
yes,
of course.
but the process. But she's got people that can do all this for her. She can go and do it fast because of who she is. I'm still going through this process.
Yeah.
I am still going through it. I got to make sure that Mocha's vet appointment didn't get booked the same day as my one appointment to get the last name change. I had to submit with the court. I had to wait over a month because you have to wait for an objection. From there, then you get the papers. Then you have to take them. You have to take them to a Social Security office. Then you have to take them to the DMV. And once you get your new license, then you can change your lease. You can change your bills. You can change your bank accounts. But when I tell you, look, there is a reason that it takes so long, and it's filing that paperwork. Once you file that paperwork, then you have to wait. And then after you wait, you get it. And then you have to go do it. Very annoying.
The Destroyer to All Trolls says she was Vega and he was Pena. Can't believe you didn't know that, Brett. I didn't know that because I didn't watch any of the stuff that either of them were in. Was she the one from Spy Kids? I can't remember. But the point is, continue.
So we've got other examples here. Brooklyn Beckham changed his name to Brooklyn Peltz Beckham when he married Nicola Peltz.
Peltz is so if you guys remember, couple years ago when there was that attempted hostile takeover at Disney by Nelson Peltz?
Wait, Penavega, that's the guy from Big Time Rush. I'm sorry, it just clicked in my brain.
I didn't know him.
He is from, okay, that is crazy. I just always knew him as Carlos Vega, or Pena, and I guess I never thought about Penavega. It just never crossed my mind because I don't really think twice about it. We've got other examples here. I'm trying to go down and figure out which ones are good because there's some that are like.
So the Zoe Saldana one is interesting. She married a guy named, is it Mark Perigo? They tied the knot in 2013. He took her last name, becoming Mark. So he hyphenated as well. He says, I told him, if you use my name, you're going to be emasculated by your community of artists, by your Latin community of men, by the world. But Marco looks up at me and says, imitating his Italian accent, I can't do that. Zoe, I don't give a shit.
Zoe.
She told In Style magazine, yes, there's Carlos Pena Jr. and Alexa Vega got married. They, like I said, they're kind of famous in conservative circles because they've got kids and well known. They said they decided to combine their last names, becoming the two, and that they wanted it to be that. They always knew that that's what they wanted. And then Lorenzo Lamas and Shauna Craig were married from 2011 to 2018. He hyphenated their last names, becoming Lorenzo Lamas Craig. That sucks too, because Lorenzo Lamas is one of the greatest names of an actor ever, as far as I'm concerned.
Another example is John Lennon and Yoko Ono, which I didn't know that, but they became John and Yoko Ono Lennon, which is just like a whole mouthful. I didn't know this, but apparently Beyonce and Jay-Z became, they changed his last name at the same time she did. They became known as the Knowles Carters, which is just like such a mouthful.
So wait, so I'm trying to think here. So Sean Carter. I feel like Carter Knowles actually sounds better. And you could make the argument that it's alphabetically correct if you were to go C then K.
But
am I wrong?
Here's someone that didn't, or who did follow that rule, which it would have been a lot funnier if they didn't.
Yes.
Jay Moore and Nikki Cox were married, and on their 2-year anniversary, he took her last name, making him John Cox Moore. But either way, it doesn't work.
He's a comedian
but
too.
How
did he pass up
John
the opportunity?
Moore Cox.
How did he pass up the opportunity to make himself John
Moore Cox?
No, is it Jay?
It's Jay. Wait, it says John down here.
Oh, I mean maybe it's a stage name.
It's probably John Jay Moore.
So Nikki Cox was from the show Las Vegas. I love that show. You should go watch that show. Remember that you've watched the show Las Vegas with me. Mm-hmm. And he made appearances in that show. Jay Moore was in Ghost Whisperer in the early seasons, and there's no way a comedian passes up the opportunity to become Jay Moorcox.
Yeah, that is hilarious.
Man.
And then one more before we go to the next part of this segment. Jake Gillis married Meg White and became Jack. There's a lot of typos in this thing. Became Jack White from the White Stripes, which is also where the name comes from, and I had no idea. I just thought it was Jack White, which is really weird. But
the other example I could say, like I said earlier, Aaron Taylor Johnson, who's in the run to play James Bond, took the name of his wife. Or took, I guess not a hyphen, but whatever. His name and his wife's name are both in their last name.
Correct.
So I don't know. I don't imagine for a second that she is going to change her actual stage name. That would be suicide in a weird fashion.
She wouldn't do it.
She would not do that. But I encourage her to change name. And you know what? As a sign of humility and living with the common man, do not offload the work of doing all of the name change forms to an assistant. Do it yourself.
It's such a
live
pain
amongst
in the butt.
common folks, Taylor.
A lot of them you have to, just because you need to physically be there to change your name. You have to verify who you are.
She's probably got to look. She's probably paid a plastic surgeon to turn some girl into a look-alike.
I'm sure she'll go to the Social Security office on like a closed day where they have to come in and work because they don't want the crowds. But
so let's move on. Let's talk about the concept of no ring, no bring.
Yeah, so this is the other article we have here from Metro saying the awkward wedding trend making Taylor Swift's guests threaten to boycott. Now, again, do I know how accurate this is? I don't, but it's very interesting. Taylor Swift and Kelsey have set a date for their big day, confirming what's basically a royal wedding. Shut up. For fans across the world. It's a big wedding. It's a big celebrity wedding. Don't call it a royal wedding. Come on.
In America.
Still not a royal wedding. Okay.
You're the Taylor Swift. Why am I defending the language here? You're like, it's like what?
Saying like, it's basically a royal wedding. Just say like the biggest celebrity wedding of all time. Like, because that really is kind of what this is going to be.
Okay. I mean, I get the comparison.
I get it. They're
though.
taking. Don't take it away. Give the royals their bag. I know people that's unpopular. I don't care. Give them their dues.
They get nothing. They get nothing. They let Meghan Markle.
I don't want people to be treated like royalty that aren't royalty. That's all I'm saying.
Continue.
Anyway, not everyone's okay. So after invites for the July 3rd ceremony, I did not know that's when it was, were sent out. One recipient said the fact she hadn't been given a +1 for the event didn't, quote, feel totally fair, and even threatened to snub it altogether as a result. When the guest told Daily Mail, what am I supposed to do? Go alone? That's so awkward. I don't think I'm going to attend because I don't want to go by myself, and I'm not sure who will be there. I mean, sorry, I'm not friends with Gigi or Bella Hadid. It's not only A-listers being ruthless about guest lists, though. According to the Not.com, I don't know why I said the .com, 40% of couples are now cutting down numbers due to budgetary concerns. So Taylor Swift isn't going to have a budgetary
I love the
concern.
idea that she's really cheap in her private life.
Okay, can
And
I
she's
say...
like, we can't, we got to limit the number here.
Okay, you know what? Our wedding invites would say, for example, when we invited Tate, he was welcome to bring a +1, but he didn't. But it said to Mr. Tate Brown. But if he would have, and on our wedding website, it said, do I have a +1? I said, anybody that is single and it's not addressed to two people, get a complimentary +1. Just put it on your RSVP and let us know that you are bringing a +1. That's all it was. So we had our wedding website linked. You could go on and be like, hey, you know, can I bring a girlfriend, a boyfriend? Of course, yes. You're not expected to go alone. That could be the case here. It's not always an explicit thing that you have to say, oh, I am +1 because, or and guest, because then the assumption is you have guests, and then people get offended because they're single and they're like, well, why do you think I have a guest? So
did you read the post from Kay here? I just thought it was interesting because this is what kind of sparked all of this dialogue online. This is what she said. This is a woman named Kay Burley. I don't know who that is. Says, what do you think? This is in relation to this whole topic. She says, what do you think? I've been reading about the reported no ring, no bring policy at Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding, which has apparently left some people deeply offended. Personally, I think it sounds perfectly sensible. A wedding invitation is not a buy one, get one free voucher. Weddings now seem to come with an unspoken assumption that every guest is entitled to arrive with a companion who they met somewhere between Hyde Park Underground Station and the middle aisle at, I don't even know what Lidl is. Is that like a grocery store?
LIDL.
Yes.
Little
Lidl,
We've been
whatever.
there.
Oh.
Continue.
Okay. Taylor Swift herself joked about this years ago on the Graham Norton show when she described hosting house parties and eventually looking around wondering, who are these men? Most couples spend tens of thousands creating the perfect wedding album only to realize 2 years later that several smiling faces in row 3 have disappeared from their circle for all eternity. Was he yours? No, I think he came with Julia. Who's Julia? And for somebody operating at Taylor Swift's level of fame, it's not just about social etiquette. It's about privacy, security, and avoiding the possibility of a stranger live streaming the first dance on Instagram. Even the New York mayor's office apparently blocked a Freedom of Information request about their wedding security logistics, delaying the release of any public records until November. No ring, no bring may sound ruthless, but those who want to spend hard-earned cash entertaining someone called Freddie who adds illicit photos to his socials disappears before the dessert course and is blocked by October.
I mean, you can just ask. If you're getting invited to someone's wedding, just ask. Like, presumably this person didn't even ask. And also, this is a high-profile, highly secure wedding. And so if they don't want strangers at their wedding, they're perfectly fine to do that. They're not just, Jack and Jill off the street. They are Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. They do not have to allow +1s. They can. They're totally free to do it. I don't think it's a budgetary.
Maybe they can get that Allen guy to try and eat 10 chicken nuggets
at the
while
wedding.
she walks down the aisle. So one of the things I saw in the comments, it was very interesting. They said that the concept of the +1 is like a television concept that somehow has been kind of imprinted on the general public. And that exact thing you read in that lady's post is actually something I've seen in tons of television shows. I just recently rewatched an episode of House where Taub and his wife are looking at their photo album. They don't recognize a bunch of people at the wedding.
Well, that means that your parents probably invited like half
Yes.
of them. And so you don't. The idea that Taylor and Travis are going to invite who they want, and yes, there is a security risk. If you don't want people live streaming your first dance, like she said, you have every right to ask for that privacy because there's already going to be such a hubbubaloo around it, right? hullabaloo. I can never say it.
Hullabaloo.
Hullabaloo around it, and it makes sense to me. Now, did we have people bring plus ones if they wanted? Of course we did. Of course we did, because
Kids
we had
invited
the
as
seats.
well?
Kids invited as well. That
was-
is also another controversial one.
There
People
was-
think there shouldn't be kids at weddings.
There was, and we're going to get more into this in the next topic, but there was babies having whole conversations while we were getting
so
married.
cute. It was the funniest thing ever to me. And maybe it's because I am not a super high maintenance bride or a bridezilla by any mean.
It was kind of like that conversation. Has anybody seen the video of the two dogs talking to each other? He says, "What's your name?
What's your name?
Tony. Ezekiel." It was basically babies doing that.
Ezekiel. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So I was trying to say hubbub and hullabaloo at the same time.
Thing. Hubbubaloo.
Hubbubaloo. So my point being, with this specifically, there are already security risks. There is already a concern about privacy, and presumably it's not about money. It's not Taylor trying to take a slight at anybody. And if you're like, oh, I don't want to go because I don't know Gigi or Bella Hadid, just be happy you're getting invited to a wedding with Gigi and Bella Hadid at it. Like, you're acting like you can't go. Like, nobody going to this wedding. Just go and talk to people. Like, you're at Taylor Swift's wedding and you're not going because you're mad you didn't get a +1, even though you didn't even say there was somebody you wanted to bring. Like,
I got a question for you. Somebody in the chat over on Rumble here. I'm sorry, I lost my place here. Basically, was saying the Taylor Swift baby boom will start right after. Do you think Taylor Swift getting married and having kids will cause a baby boom?
no, because these women are all chronically single. Not all of them, but a lot of her fans are chronically single or too young. It's not going to cause a baby boom. Maybe it'll
Wait, her
make
fans are too young?
some are too young.
Like, not a lot, right?
I'm saying between the ones that are single
Okay.
and the ones that are too young, it makes up for maybe about half. Some already have kids that are fans of Taylor Swift, so those fans already have kids. They weren't influenced by Taylor Swift. A small minority might do that.
I'm
but
surprised
that's it.
her wedding date is even public knowledge.
It was going to get leaked. Someone was inevitably going to leak it.
I mean, this was a conversation where people still don't know for sure whether or not Tom Holland and Zendaya had their wedding or not, because
They probably kept the guest list really small. Taylor and Travis probably didn't. He has a whole football team to invite.
The stylist leaked that the wedding already happened, but she has been famously not willing to confirm, even though she has been seen wearing her ring, whatever. It's kind of interesting. Like, if I was Taylor Swift, I would have looked to keep the whole thing secret, date and all.
She probably tried, and there's always going to be a leaker.
July 3rd,
Always.
so right after my birthday.
That's actually your birthday celebration. They just happened to get married on the
That's
same.
exactly
That's
what
what
it is.
We should be invited for that.
I agree. All right, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about the possibility of child-free dining and the fact that it seems like many Americans aren't too happy with the way kids are behaving in restaurants. And what this has led to is a discussion between conservatives who are calling this a sign of decline for our country and that it's a consequence of falling birth rates. This was an article that was published over on Fox News about this survey. Pull it up here. So it says, fed up with screaming kids at dinner, more Americans support adults-only dining. By the way, we do have a poll open right now in the chat, and we worded it a little bit differently. But basically it says, should restaurants offer child-free dining? It's pretty deadlocked right now. 48% of you say yes, they should offer it. 52% of you say no, they shouldn't. So here's what it says. More Americans are warming up to the idea of a child-free dining experience at restaurants, and parents may be the ones leading the charge. A new survey of 1,000 adults found that 75% of respondents said that restaurants should offer some form of adults-only dining, whether through designated seating areas, late-night restrictions, or romantic child-free settings, according to Lightspeed Commerce. The strongest support emerged around evening and experience-driven dining. Nearly half of consumers surveyed, 49%, supported restricting children during late evening hours, while 46% favored designated adults-only sections. Another 46% of people said romantic dining environments should be child-free. The question is, what constitutes romantic environments. I don't know what actually constitutes that, but alcohol-focused venues also ranked high, with 43% of respondents supporting restrictions in those spaces. We've talked about that before in this channel. This person from this company, from this hospitality company, said that the findings reflect a broader shift in how consumers are thinking about dining out. The clearest signal in data is that adults-only dining is no longer a niche concept tied to luxury or exclusivity, they said in Fox Digital. Hospitality businesses are increasingly creating situational experiences, whether for late-night meals, romantic settings, or rooftop lounges. Consumers are willing to pay for atmosphere tailored to specific occasions. One of the most notable findings, they said, was the level of support amongst parents themselves. What's particularly striking is that parents are even more supportive than non-parents, suggesting that this trend is being driven less by frustration with children and more by changing expectations around how people want to socialize and spend their nights out. Some restaurants have already embraced adults-only policies as part of their brand identity. At Capo's restaurant and speakeasy in it's called a speakeasy in Las Vegas, and it's in Las Vegas. Okay, and the guy in charge of it is Nico Santucci. Is this like a mob guy? I don't know.
Santucci.
Said the venue allowed children during its first decade in business before shifting to an adults-only model. Yes, they're probably committing crimes in there. Sorry. In a speakeasy, particularly in Las Vegas, people get pretty loose, he said. We'd like folks to feel comfortable and be able to speak freely. He said the change was driven partly by atmosphere and partly by practical business considerations, especially in a nightlife-oriented setting where guests expect a certain experience. So, all of that being what it is. What do you think about the idea? And we'll get into a little bit of the quote tweets here, and there are a great many of them talking about it. What are your general thoughts on this concept?
If you are complaining about other people's kids in public, you probably shouldn't be going out to eat in the first place. I think most restaurants, you can tell if they're like a family-friendly environment or not. I don't know what parent was bringing their kid into a Las Vegas speakeasy.
I know.
That's like the first concern I have, but second to that, I understand that kids can be unruly, but the restaurant shouldn't be responsible for how you control your child. If your child is screaming, it's your responsibility for you to take it out of the restaurant, not for the restaurant to make a whole ban on children to begin with.
Yeah.
Children are a part of life. Children are a part of having a family. And if I get parents are probably like, oh man, we get a date night and I go out and I'm just listening to more screaming children, then go somewhere more upscale that is less likely to have that experience. Mm-hmm. Or you can go and sit in your car and eat something where it's quiet. Okay, you're not entitled to, adults aren't entitled to have things like a child-free restaurant. I've never I don't understand this whole child-free trend, especially from parents, because it's like,
I mean, it's a sign of a lack of value put on
kids.
It
is a sign of a lack of values, and it's also a sign of a lack of, how do I want to bring, like, tradition, I guess.
Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like,
yeah.
The tradition of raising the next generation. That was the sound of the next generation you heard there. And that used to be something that was celebrated.
Also, you used to be a screaming baby, so how about you shut up? But my take is, if you want to bring your kid in public, you should know if your kid has the right temperament and demeanor to be in public and sit at a restaurant for a couple hours. He literally asked, Brett asked me before this, how old is our kid going to be before we, one day, when we have kids, like how old when we go out to dinner? We probably won't be able to afford to go out to dinner that much, but when we do, it'll either be with our families when they come into town, or if we're with visiting them, or if we live by them at that point, or when we know that they can handle it. It's not really like a distinct age, but it's more of like they can sit still, and we'll still sit with them. Like, I've never understood. I've worked at a family-friendly restaurant where there were definitely kids that were screaming and crying, and there were definitely kids that were very well behaved.
Do you want to tell the story about
the Cracker Barrel,
the
okay?
Cracker Barrel
Clapper.
Clapper.
That sounds wrong. Get your mind out of the gutter.
It does sound like a particular woman who's been passed around the community.
But that's not what we mean.
That is not what the Cracker Barrel Clapper was.
There was a kid. Now, I'm going to preface this with, I saw this child multiple times. This child did not have any noticeable autism or special needs or anything like that. First and foremost, before y'all think I am a dick, okay? Because I'm not. And this kid was just clapping to clap, just doing this. Randomly, very loudly, by the way. This person was like halfway across the restaurant from us. And maybe not halfway, like a quarter of the way. But they were like, not in our section, but next to our section, maybe.
They were on the other side of a pillar.
and we
Yeah.
could hear.
Yeah.
I can't even clap that loud. Randomly, and then I was so annoyed because it was just like I'm trying to have a conversation with my husband, and it's just like, no, stop it. Why are you clapping? Like, it was so annoying. And Brett knows that this makes me so mad every time. And I even went on my way when I went to the bathroom to walk past that table to make sure that I wasn't angry about a kid with special needs clapping, because that's fine. That I would understand, that's less controllable. And the parent was just like, nah, whatever. And then eventually when the kid did it to her face, because I saw him do this, then the mom was like, stop it, get out of my face. I'm like, oh, so now you care because it's in your face? It's been in my ears the whole time.
It has.
Sorry, upstairs people.
P-Tran says they were trying to start a slow clap, but as anybody who's seen not another teen movie knows, you can't just start a slow clap at any old time.
Oh, and it gets even worse. Then they sang happy birthday to someone at that table. And he didn't even clap when they sang happy birthday. Like when they clap at the end, I didn't see that kid clap. I was like, are you kidding me? So I get it. There are times where kids go in public and they do annoying things. Your responsibility as a parent is to remove that child from the environment, calm them down, and then you can go back in when they're behaving. But when you have kids, you don't get the luxury of just going out and doing whatever you want. Your life is dictated in part by what your kids are doing. So if you're like, oh, I'm going to go out in public and my child always screams in a restaurant, and I'm going to go and eat out at a restaurant today, probably shouldn't do that. It's rude to other people. It's just common courtesy to not do that to people. But oh man, I just to think there needs to be like a child-free zone. I get the smoke-free zones, not having smoking in restaurants, because that's an impact on other people's health.
What about the idea that it was parents that were championing this? It wasn't the
They're being
non-parents.
selfish. They're like, oh well, I deal with my kids all day. I don't want to deal with anybody else's kids. But then if they want to bring their kids out in public, they'll do it. It's a double standard.
I mean, that's assuming that. You're kind of
go to a
assuming
bar.
the double standard.
Go to a bar. Go somewhere where kids might not be, like a speakeasy where they still serve food. Go to a high-end restaurant like a Dutch's Daughter, where it's less likely kids are going to be there because the prices are so high. Go, if you're to treat yourself, go do that. Go somewhere where kids might not be. Go to a distillery. Go to anywhere. A brewery, it's still going to happen, but it's less common the later it gets. If you're going for dinner, go do that. Or you can embrace the fact that you have a family and not be stuck up and bring your kids out to eat, or order in and have dinner with your family. Because I love being able to go out and spend time with my husband. But when we have kids. Our kids are part of our family. That's part of us. And we just went out to eat the other day, and I didn't mention this, but my friend who brought his family had said, do you want just me, or can I bring the whole gang of kids, the 3 kids and the wife? And I was like, bring them all. Like, of course, bring them all. I want to meet your, like, you know, he's my friend. I don't really know his family, but like, bring your family so that they can eat dinner with you or have dinner with us. And I'm glad we did. His kids were very funny. And so that I'll never understand. And that goes to the conversation, which is what we briefly touched on, is weddings, child-free weddings.
Here's some of the quote tweets. Here's what Matt Walsh had to say. He says, if you don't want to be around kids at a restaurant, then fork over the money to go to a nice upscale place. I don't think I've ever in my life seen an unruly child at a restaurant where the average entree costs more than like $30 or $40.
Correct.
Unruly kids are only ever a problem at spots like Applebee's. But if you want to eat that kind of slop, well, he's being elitist now.
Whatever.
You're going to have to be around children. People want to go to a place and pay $14 for an entree with sides and also not be around kids. Sorry, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah. No, I mean, other than the little bit of elitist, you want to eat that slop, whatever. Yeah, give me my diner slop. I don't care. So other than that little bit that he said, yeah.
This one's from someone says, I would have nodded at some stupid shit like this 10 years ago. Once I was even mad at a parent of a baby crying on a 16-hour flight. The universe heard me, and 10 years later, I was that parent. Wish I could go back in time and slap myself.
Yeah, so that same thing. Flights is a big one. People complain about, look, I'm going to go out of my way to make sure that we don't have to fly with a child unless it's like something that's like an emergency, family emergency situation that we have to get somewhere quicker than driving. But I would much rather, I'm responsible for my kids. Now, prepping your kid for that and making sure that your kid is of the demeanor, because you can parent them to make sure that they don't feel the need to scream and cry. A newborn is one thing, okay? A baby is one thing, but a kid should know how to behave. Make sure you prepare for a long haul flight, but their ears pop, it hurts, all of that. So I just, look, I get it. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, like, well, how people shouldn't have to listen to your kids screaming. No, they shouldn't, but that isn't on the restaurant. That's on the parents.
Phil Labonte tweeted, "This is evidence of a dying civilization." A man named Phil Labonte. Another tweet from someone said, "Oh my God, why is no one having kids? We need young people to start families. Oh, but if you do have a kid, please keep them at home because I really don't want to see or hear them, or you for that matter, until they're old enough to be quiet as a mouse in public so I can enjoy my cerebral conversation about why people aren't having more kids and what policy incentives might be needed to reverse that trend."
Go somewhere where it is pretty much only kids, or I'm sorry, only adults, no kids. Like a speakeasy, a club, not a club, but like a bar or whatever. An environment where kids may not be. Go somewhere that doesn't have a kids menu on the menu. That's a good sign. It's probably not a kid-friendly place. Go there. But if we're going to sit here and say
but then
we
what
shouldn't...
am I supposed to eat?
Oh, yeah, funny. I was like, what? Yeah, funny. I get it. I get that sometimes it's overwhelming for a parent. I think having a little bit of grace with parents other than immediately getting mad is probably what we should go for. But this opens a conversation to kids at weddings. My very judgmental, I will say it right now, this is going to be judgmental of me and I don't care. If you don't like kids at your wedding, you probably shouldn't be getting married. And my take on that is that I see marriage and people are going to be like, oh, Olivia is so pompous. Blah. Yes, in this way I am. You should be getting married to build a family. If you cannot stand a kid crying, a kid babbling during a serious moment, you probably shouldn't get married and have children. You probably shouldn't be afforded that ability because you can't even stand them. So at our wedding, as we mentioned, these two babies were sitting right behind each other. So it was like an aisle row. So I could see them perfectly, by the way, right behind each other. Okay. So if this water and this water are babies, they were like that in line with each other. And it was so cute. They wanted to be friends. They're babbling. They're reaching for each other. They're like, ah. And was it a little loud? Yeah, a little bit. Did it? No. What I did was I locked into my wedding ceremony. I mean, I was kind of giggling, but I locked in and I locked into my soon-to-be husband, the pastor, and everything. You lock in, you focus. If you can't focus, that's on you. I focused and then right after the wedding, we go into the back room and Brett's like, and I was like, I'm fine, man. I'm married to you now officially. This is the best moment. Like, I'm so excited.
My favorite part was the truck bumping rap music.
Oh, well,
out
that
the
was
window.
hilarious because that was right at the beginning
Like
of
with
the ceremony.
like the very the very traditional, like you could just the subwoofers were just blowing out the entire street. It was amazing.
But it was funny because it was like not in the middle of the ceremony. It was right at the beginning, so we could like take a pause there and be like, okay. Let's restart now, which that was funny. Kind of threw off the pastor for like half a second because he was like, what the heck was that? But it was funny because guess what? On your wedding day, things are going to happen. This is for every bride out there that is like even teetering on the line of bridezilla. You can't control everything on your wedding day, no matter how much prep you do. Things are going to happen on your wedding day that you have little to no control over. You are so much better focusing on the fact you're marrying the love of your life, and you're going to start, this whole new family unit. Focus on that. Focus on the person you're marrying and that the people that you love are all. This is one of the only times everyone you love is going to be in a room together that's not a sad occasion.
If I was marrying me, I wouldn't let anything get to me either.
Like, embrace that. Love that, because there are things that can go wrong and it's fine. It's fine. My hair kept falling, curls kept falling out. I don't care. I was marrying the love of my life. And, there was something else that was like, oh, is this going to be a problem? And I don't even remember what it was now because it was such a non-issue for me. I don't even remember. And it was like someone like said something and I was like, whatever, just do that, right? Like, I don't care. It's fine. And look, if your biggest concern is that kids are going to be at your wedding day, I have a family. I am one of the youngest. So people have kids, right? Cousins have kids. Everyone has kids. There's a very cute picture of me. I don't want to like blast my cousin's baby out there, but there's a very cute picture of me holding my cousin's very chunky baby at our wedding. And I love that photo. It's very cute. It also looks just like my cousin. It's really funny. It's a very cute photo of me holding this baby. And the kids were so fun dancing. And the DJ even gave them, this was very sweet, the DJ gave them headphones and then pressed a
remember
button
that,
that locks everything in, but the kid's going to hear it changing, but it's not changing on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And so the kids, there's a ton of cute photos of this kid trying to like remix, and it's like my cousin's kids, and they were, by the way, part of our wedding, the ring bearer and flower boy. No young girls in the family, don't yell at us. And I am so happy that they were part of our special day. I was so happy that our friends got to bring their babies. We had a couple friends that wouldn't have been able to come if they couldn't bring their kids. My cousin wouldn't have been able to come if we couldn't bring her kids. Our friends, I can say this now because it is public information. Our friend Hannah Claire, you guys know, friend of the channel, she wouldn't have been able to come with her husband if she couldn't bring the baby. Bring your baby, dang it. Have fun. Like, other people had other reasons they couldn't come, but we did tell them if they wanted to bring their child, they were more than welcome. Most of them don't even need a plate of food. You don't even have to worry about it because they're so young they don't need to. So
Yeah, don't feed the kids.
that's gonna be my whole, okay, we did feed kids, obviously. That's my quote unquote like holier than thou take today, because yeah, you should allow kids at your wedding. Weddings are about marriage, creating families, and all of that good stuff. And if you don't allow kids at your wedding, I understand if it's a capacity limit. I don't understand if it's just you kind of being a prick. There we
All right.
go.
Before we move on, Destroyer to all trolls in the chat, as always, says, boring topics today. My friend, I have a solution for you. If you go to the Timcast Discord and you find the PCC section, there is a topic submission section in there.
Yes, if you're a member at timcast.com, if you're not, what are you doing? Support us. Go there. And you should go to the PCC section. I'm pulling it up now, which is why I'm like trying to drag this out. You go in the server. There is going to be a bunch of different sections. One of them is called Pop Culture Crisis, and there's a new submission form. Actually, you see two of them right now. One from 4 days ago, which I think we did talk about. Broody Gambit, thank you for using it. I love that. We also have a mailbag if you have questions, which we actually talked to Patrick about this, so we don't even need to worry about answering it. But there's a mailbag, there's a general chat, and there's a new submission chat. If you don't like our topics, tell us why we should change them. Give us topics to talk about. I see the same few people every day. Boring topics as usual. Thanks for the view. I don't know what else to say to it, because you guys still watch, and I love that you still watch. But if you think they're boring topics, send us what you want to hear.
All right. It's time to move on. It's only going to get worse.
Oh,
for
it gets worse.
It gets so much worse, my friends.
This is what happens when there's no news.
Oh boy. Well, it's not that. It's like, so
Not
the thing
good
is-
news, I'm sorry.
No, the thing is like, sometimes the topics are news heavy and it's focused on current events or something that's like deeply focused and relevant in the news that day. So for today, that would have been like the Supergirl story was like new projections for the box office. But oftentimes on a channel like this, you're not talking to a bunch of people who share the same zone of interest. You need to find stuff that everybody can have an opinion on, which is kind of in a weird way, a little bit of an art form to find something that everybody can kind of talk about. And in this case, yes, they said, why did Olivia
Yeah,
go
I
all
saw that. That's
Italian
why I
there?
did that.
Yeah. So today it does get worse towards the end here, and everybody can have an opinion on this. What are we talking about here?
Well, whoo, boy, we are talking about an exclusive we have from New York Post, if you want to put it on the screen here, that is titled, I sleep around, but my husband isn't allowed to. Meet the couple in a one-sided open marriage. That's right, you're forced to meet him today, ladies and gentlemen. In an effort to stay authentic to who she is while in a loving 9-year marriage, Carla Houston, 34, freely embarks on sexual escapades while her husband remains monogamous.
Carla is a horrible person,
Carla, you
and
suck.
her husband is
A cuck.
a cuck.
Yes. The one-sided relationship, more formally, we're going to be formal here, known as a monopoly relationship, is an unconventional, say that again, dynamic that works for the California couple, shocker. My husband is monogamous and I'm polyamorous, and we've had to build a dynamic that honors the difference. I personally resonate a lot with relationship anarchy. So for me, it's a lot less about ranking relationships and more about allowing people the autonomy to define relationships in the way that feel authentic and consensual for them. The couple married in 2022 after many, quote, honest conversations, self-reflection, and learning what felt authentic for both of us.
I thought that they've been married 9 years, but opened
Together
it up.
9 years.
Together 9 years, but the married couple became monopoly in 2022.
It says they got married in opened it. Okay, yeah, they phrased it weird. But yes, they opened
continue.
it up in 2022. Jealousy can absolutely become a thing. They're human, she said. Oh, and she's bisexual. Just icing on there. And said she always predicted polyamory. These feelings are usually worked out through communication rather than avoidance. And then she goes on to say that she believes there has been a broader discomfort about gender roles and relationships and control. So my husband is not controlling me, and I'm not hiding who I am to preserve a traditional image of marriage. Don't get married. If you want to go and have sex with 1 billion people and be a sloot, go do it.
Says, of course, jealousy can absolutely
Yes.
come up because we're human. She said, and she's bisexual and always practiced polyamory, pointed this out. Those feelings are usually worked through with communication rather than avoidance. If anything, the 34-year-old feels that the dynamic of her marriage requires more communication and emotional transparency than many traditional marriages. Well, it's because you're making it more complicated and more emotionally damaging than it needs to be.
She said, and this is down a little further, but I think it's interesting to point out. Houston says ignorant outsiders often don't understand, quote, that monopoly dynamics are not automatically dysfunctional, selfish, or less committed than traditional relationships.
They're absolutely
They
less committed.
absolutely are completely
Wait,
selfish and dysfunctional.
what was the first part of it? They're
Not automatically dysfunctional, they are. Selfish, they are. And less committed, they are.
Yes.
They're wrong on all three strikes.
I like this part, though, where she makes it a societal issue. It says, there's often a double standard in society where men having multiple partners is normalized or even celebrated in some spaces, while women who openly explore their sexuality or non-monogamy are judged more harshly. I don't know, like, what if you're talking, because she gets into, like, manosphere types down there. That is the fringes and not actual, like, no actual person who understands the way society should function would want to celebrate somebody being promiscuous at the expense of somebody they love and care about. At least not anybody who's an actual good human being. So if you want to buy into that type of slop that people are putting out there, where high value men talk about acting like a high value dude, whatever, that's not this. That is
No,
not
it's
this.
not. And then if you go down towards where the manosphere part is talked about, a relationship educator, I don't know what that means, but we're going to roll with it. Leanne Yao said, if it's not healthy if one person is being like, well, I get multiple partners, but you're not allowed to. Oh, she's a polyamorous relationship educator. I'm sorry, I missed the
Yeah, of
polyamorous
course.
part.
Yes.
But that's even worse if someone who likes polygamy is telling you it's a bad idea. And polyamory, it doesn't work. It never will. This is an excuse for a woman to go out and cheat on her husband constantly, and she can still. She's basically
Well, she
married.
say it's not cheating because
It is.
because
I don't
he
care what she
knows.
says. She's stupid.
So
Stupid.
the other reason this came up recently is because of the Nikki
Nikki
Glaser
Glaser.
stuff from was that like 2 weeks ago? Feels like a lifetime ago, where she talked about how she kind of likes it when her husband cheats on her because it's a signal to the pack that he's in
desirable.
demand, right? Which is the weirdest type of like if we want to talk about podcasting, and we've had discussions about whether the likes of Call Her Daddy or Alex Cooper are damaging to women in society, normalizing that is absolutely going to create a crazy level of dysfunction in
And this guy is
culture.
probably actually deeply depressed and just acting like he's not. Now she's putting it on blast for his putting his face and his name out there for everybody to see. So everyone in his family is going to see that. Everyone sees this and now knows that he is a grade A cuck whose wife goes and sleeps. But then she says he's not allowed to.
Did she say not allowed to, or
Yes.
he chooses not
No,
to?
he's not allowed to. He's not allowed to. So I'm allowed to be a slut. I'm allowed to go out and sleep with a bunch of people. Can I say that on here?
I mean, you
I
just
already
did.
did. Sorry. Do you want me to not say it?
Yeah,
If I can say it, I'll say it.
clipped.
She can go around and be a slut, but he can't go around and sleep with other women.
Yeah.
And now she's blaming it on the manosphere, saying that's toxic. It's creating a toxic culture. Girl, what about you? How many partners do you have? How many guys have you been sleeping with? Do you plan on having kids? Whose kid is it going to be? There are so many questions. Why are you going through the woes of being married, right? You have to go through the motions to actually get married and then to open it back up. But after years of not being married, or I'm sorry, being married and not having an open relationship. What?
The crazy part there is the he's not allowed to thing. So we may have the Brett bingo card where I mentioned all the stuff, and I mentioned House once already today, but there was a really good episode of House where this couple has an open marriage, and House immediately is like, no, no, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
And they're like, and some people push back and they're like, some people are just open and they're communicating more. And he's basically like, the only reason this dude would be okay with his wife having sex with another dude is if he was covering for something that he's doing that's betraying her in an even greater fashion. And it ends up being true where he's like, he lost his job 6 months ago or a year ago, and he's living on credit cards and he isn't telling her. So the whole episode focuses on her being like, for years I thought I was superior to all of these other women because I was like, me and my husband have no secrets. We have this open line of communication, and it ended up being that she ended up, she was a fool and got duped, just like everybody else gets duped in these types of situations, just for a different reason. And the fact that he's not allowed to, and that he would allow this article to be published or to be part of it, is really, really sad.
It's really sad. I feel like dude is so whipped, he doesn't even know how whipped he is by her. And I'll never understand this, one, the desire, but two, to make it seem like you're somehow the more normal one and everybody else is not being normal. Everybody else is somehow doing it wrong because they want dedication and they want to grow a family, and they're like, oh, isn't that natural? Literally, shut up. You sound stupid, you look stupid, and you're being stupid. It is extremely dysfunctional to have one person go and sleep with a bunch of other people while your cuck husband sits at home. No offense to this guy, by the way. He's probably so whipped and, I don't want to say, like, abused, but, like...
He's not abused.
But he's like, so emotionally, like, just detached at this point, probably.
He can literally say the "my wife's boyfriend" thing.
Yeah, he can pull the Alex Stein, but in all seriousness. This guy is probably so far beyond the pale of like normal emotionality that he is so screwed. Yeah. So yes, it's dysfunctional. Yes, it is not traditional. Like, there is so much wrong with this. And of course it was just her talking in this interview about how great it is and just posting pictures of her husband. There is...
She enjoys it. She enjoys humiliating him.
Yes, it's a humiliation
I am of the opinion
sure.
that she enjoys humiliating him.
It is absolutely... It is a humiliation ritual, and whether he enjoys it or not, I don't know. I'm not going to make that assertion. She's clearly loving life because she can go and do whatever she wants. I don't care. Don't get married just to be a slut.
Do they talk about what they do for a living? I didn't see anything in there when I read it.
No.
If she's making all the money... and he's doing this because he's just a hobosexual who lives with her because I guess they're married now. He can't be the hobosexual because they're actually married. But that's the person who gets in a relationship simply because they need somewhere to live. That is not this.
He needs to protect himself and his emotions before he gets so depressed that he wants to do something drastic. He needs to leave this marriage. It's not a functional marriage, regardless of how much you love this woman. She does not love you back. And the
do
way
you
that
consider
you would
this abusive? I said he's not abused, but I see some pushback in the chat.
I kind of do. I think the not allowed to part, by restricting his ability to do what he wants when you're able to do whatever you want.
You can't do that.
Okay, yes, but that's the point, is when you're in that kind of situation, an abusive situation, you don't feel like you can leave. Is the point I'm saying. But she could be holding up, she could be like, oh, you don't need to work, baby, I make all the money. Let's just assume that is the premise here. So I get to do what I want. That is in of itself, like, you can't go do what you want, I'm going to isolate you. But again, we don't know the other workings of their relationship.
I'm saying in general, like, he's an adult.
It's controlling at the very least.
He's an adult. He has agency.
What if we have known that there are situations where women are so insane, a guy tries to leave, she's like, I'm going to end myself. I'm going to self-delete. And it's like, he has that, that's abusive. That is emotionally manipulative and abusive, to tell someone, to put it on somebody's mind that if I leave, they are going to take their life and somehow that's my responsibility now, regardless if it's not true. That is an emotional manipulative tactic. Yes, saying he can just leave, it's probably not that simple.
Andy Will says, yes, Brett, if I smack my wife, you'd say that's not abuse because she can leave. I reject the comparison of actual physical violence.
Again, what if she's threatening? We don't know how crazy this lady is.
But that's something that we don't know the information. That's an unknown variable here. Okay, there are weird dudes and women who like this stuff.
Maybe he does. I don't know.
He wants to. That's not abuse. He can leave.
Right. In theory, he can. We don't know the inner workings.
We don't know all of the details.
We don't. But this is speaking to the trend of not wanting to commit to people, throwing around marriage like it's just a tax credit, and it can just be defined however you want to define it. When society is based on a man and a woman being married and creating a family, that is a relationship, that is a marriage. The Bible tells us that marriage is between a man and a woman with the desire to grow a family, create offspring, and create a legacy. That is biblically and legally what it should be.
Beyond just the act of, if you don't buy into the idea that she's getting off on this, just like the fact that she does it to him and he accepts it is one thing. The fact that she would speak openly about it and allow it to be put in the press is a whole nother level.
And we don't know if he would knew about it until it was published. Or again, we don't know their communication. We don't know any of that. My biggest problem here is it's a continuation and destruction of marriage, the destruction of values.
Marcus in the chat says it's a kink. Yes, it is possible this dude's completely into it. In which case, again,
I'm not saying
not abuse, just horrible.
I'm trying to get away from the abuse part of this conversation because I think we've all said our point. It is the again, the degradation of society, of a strong society, of a society that can flourish. We're 250 years into this country, and now we've got people not allowing their partners to sleep around. If they want to sleep around, which again, you shouldn't even be in a relationship at that point, or not wanting kids to go out in public because they annoy you. This is the degradation of American society by not allowing or wanting these things to happen. You're in control of what you do, and what you should do, which is your biological imperative, is get married, have kids, and stay loyal to your family. That is what people want to do. Okay, biologically, that is every normal person. That's what they want to do. And I'm sick of the degradation of society. I'm sick of it being, whether it's true promiscuous or whether we are not allowing kids to go in public places because we're annoyed by them, because we have the attention span of a gnat now as a society. It's very annoying, and it's one of those things that is going to end up leading to the destruction of society.
ND Will, before we move on, says, no, Brett, your assertion was that it's not abuse because you can leave. My statement is that the ability to leave has no bearing on what is or isn't abuse. Outside of knowing whether he's actually into this or if he's actually just afraid to say so, you can't really speak to it because, like somebody said before, it's a kink for some people. So it depends on your definition of what makes it abusive to him. If he likes it, then it's not after a fashion any form of abuse, in my opinion.
We should go to Super Chat.
No, do you know what is abusive? Do you know what is abusive? This lineup for the Freedom 250 concert, which I thought was fake at first. Apparently this is real. The funny thing is, Milli Vanilli, I thought one of them was dead.
I think so.
Okay, and the other thing is Martina McBride actually makes sense because I believe she sang the song Independence Day, and she should sing that at that event. Let's go, Flo Rida. Here we go.
Flo Rida,
I'm so ready for Pitbull.
I'm so ready. Well, he's Mr. Worldwide, not Mr.
But
America.
Pitbull is a patriot. Pitbull is a patriot. We need him here.
Brett's really bad with cutting me off today,
he can be
guys.
Mr. He can be
Brett
Mr.
is
Worldwide.
so bad with he's just so excited about it. He's like, Pitbull. I was saying, Flo Rida, we got to get some My House. We got to get some Right Round in there. Man, if he plays Right Round, you know what? I will go and I will have. Also, isn't Milli Vanilli not even from America?
I don't know.
I thought they were from Europe. Am I crazy?
I have no idea.
Where are the
Kid Rock on there?
No Kid Rock. No. Brad Paisley's got some good American songs, like pro-America songs. But Flo Rida, look, most of them I'm like, but Flo Rida, I'll take that one. But everything else, you should have gotten people from different decades of American music and, from there. And many more. Okay, whatever that means. Sure.
They probably couldn't afford any of the other ones that you named. I'm surprised Kid Rock isn't down there, though.
Yeah.
Yes.
He would have done something like this.
All right, guys, let us go to Super Chats here, ladies and gentlemen. ND Will, I see what you said. We're just going to have to agree to disagree on this one, and that's okay. Back up to the top. Well, we're through. Did we get through most of these here? Hold on.
Just the few 20s at the top.
Did we not do these?
We did.
Okay.
Wait.
You did that one?
Yeah, because you didn't have my back. Okay, we're going to start at Dingus.
Okay, Dingus Khan says, for frozen pizza, Motor City Pizza... For frozen pizza, Motor City Pizza Co. is tops.
2 are Little Caesars closed.
Where can we get
Not
some commas?
because it wasn't popular, but because they couldn't find staff. Oh, okay, yeah, we need some We need some like periods and stuff. Yeah. Motor City Pizza Co. has some incredible frozen pizzas. Some of the best on the market, honestly.
Weird Traveler says, saw Obsession on Saturday and it was very easily 5 stars. We'll be seeing Backrooms this Saturday as well. Also, Brett, did you see the primetime trailer? It's starring Robert Pattinson as Chris Hansen. I saw the advertisement for it on X. I did not watch it. Interesting concept, but I don't know if I'm going to check it out. But yeah, I did see that being posted around. Weary Traveler says half of society's problems could be fixed if everyone just locked in for a year.
What do you mean locked in? Because we did that with COVID and it didn't work.
Yeah, do you mean locked in the house?
Do you mean locked in, like focused?
I think he means focused, yes. Quiet Inari says, I'm not against children, but it's not fair for everyone else to deal with somebody else's kid. People without kids can eat at cheap places too.
Yes, but so can people with kids. So, you know, it does sound like you might actually be against kids just based on that super chat, starting with the qualifier.
They said Milli Vanilli is German.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I'm surprised no Village People.
They might not want to.
No, they turned around on that.
I know, but I don't know. Maybe they're not available. I don't know.
This is like a nonpartisan thing, too.
I don't know. Well, everyone's going to see it as partisan.
And Vanilla Ice should only perform if he's going to perform on stage with ICE agents doing choreography dance behind him. We have a 20 over on Rumble from Grunmeister.
What up?
Says, personally, I just go to an adult establishment rather than to a restaurant that is family accessible. I don't believe in child-free dining. Just deal with it.
Yeah, grow up. You were a child at one point, too. Like, in all sincerity, it's just, you clearly have a bias against children if you don't want to deal with children in public, or you have no tolerance for other people, you know.
There is a community note on this Freedom 250 thing that says several announced artists, including Morris Day, have denied or withdrawn their lineup. Withdrawn themselves from the lineup. Yeah. That's too bad. All right, Broody Gambit over on Rumble says 4 out of 5 Great Lakes choose Michigan.
Yeah, I don't know what happened with Ontario, but if we could have her make a 5 out of 5, we would.
All right. Broody Gambit says, with the penny, because it is flat, it gets enough wind resistance to not kill someone, but a sphere with the same mass could if dropped from a significant height.
Yep.
Watch out for the falling air conditioner units as well.
And pianos.
You don't want to have a piano fall on you. That would be
bad. Everything for Rumble?
Yes, just catching up there.
Let's go back.
All right. One more here from Quiet Inari says, no childless person wants to be around
welfare queen children.
Yes, that's not how you spell welfare queens, but yes, who have never been disciplined. Did you see the video the other day? Did you see the post the other day of the kid who goes over to the barbecue next door to get food, and it was just a kid who wasn't invited. Yeah. And then there was this whole conversation going on about whether they should have, because I guess the lady sent him off with like a bag of Cheetos. And there was a whole discourse about whether they should have fed the kid or not. I mean, I guess the idea is like, if this kid, right, because he's like went in the same neighborhood, like, is this a kid that you know has like a bad home life, like, and doesn't get fed well? That's a CPS issue. That's not I wish I could find it. Look, do I think welfare? No. Go ahead. Do I think welfare queens with their most of them really don't even eat out all that much. They go to a McDonald's drive-thru, to be completely honest with you. But if you are saying, well, why should I be forced? It sounds like, I'm not going to make assumptions, but it sounds like you're specifically talking about a certain group of people. And yeah, maybe they haven't been disciplined. Maybe they haven't. But, like, they have every right to go in public, too. You can't just lock them all away because you don't like their children. Go to a different establishment, get Uber Eats, go get a pickup. You don't have to go sit in the restaurant if you don't want to. But you cannot police how other people are going to go and eat their dinner unless it literally is against the law. So, I'm really sick of people complaining about kids. Oh, we got a 20 here from Dingus Khan of Gongolia for the Gongo. Fist. Put a little fist. Come back soon, Shane. Crisis parties don't grow on trees. But apparently
Yes.
It's like we've had like 1.5 the last 2
For
days.
the Gongo.
So
He's been around the last 2 days.
I'm saying, but like we're almost at 1.
Yes, for the Gongo, you guys go to the Teespring and get your Gongo or Mocha mugs. Oh, update on Mocha. She's doing well. We have an appointment next Wednesday to get her checked in on again. She is she's doing great. She's deaf. Okay, can't hear anymore, and it's telling because she is she's screaming. Okay, she's yelling, and bless her.
This is that story. Social media is going back and forth after a kid smelled his neighbor's barbecue and knocked on the door asking if they had any like leftovers, and they sent him off with Cheetos. And then the internet was super pissed.
That they didn't give her food, or that they sent him off with Cheetos, or that the kid should. Oh, we did get a crisis party. It looks like you guys.
I ain't trying to be rude though, but you still grilling?
Nah, we done now.
Oh, y'all just finished today?
Yeah.
Y'all got some leftovers?
Nah, we ain't yet.
Oh, it's almost done.
What you need, man?
I'm trying to get some food. I saw y'all grill up. I was like, y'all grilling?
Do you live up the street?
Yeah.
Okay, well, next time we grill, I'll make sure to get something extra for you, okay?
Okay.
Chocolates, do you like, it's not grilling, but do you like Cheeto Puffs?
Yeah.
You like Cheetos? Okay, here you go, bud.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
They had no leftovers. They sent him off with some Cheetos.
Okay,
you shouldn't even have done
so-
that because you don't know what that kid is allergic to.
He said he likes Cheetos. I don't know. But anyway, I'm glad the kid was at least polite.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he wasn't like, give me food right now. I guess I have questions about this child's home life more than anything. I have a question if it's a lack of discipline or if it's a lack of food in the home. That's my... that is absolutely
I am
my...
not trying to sound rude, but people said he looks well fed.
Is he fat?
He's not skinny.
I mean, he's probably not eating healthy. I would have been like, oh, sweetie, like...
There's a happy ending to this story.
Is there?
Yes. Likely due to pressure from the internet telling her she's a horrible person. This is the lady who turned him down. They threw a pizza party and invited him. The young boy who went viral for asking his neighbors if they had any barbecue leftovers was invited over by the same neighbors for a pizza party.
Hey, Saya. Say, hey, Saya.
It's not barbecue, is it, Jaquez? No. Is it good, though? Yeah.
Okay, happy ending for everybody involved.
Yeah, I guess I would want to know, again, like if this is like a neighbor, you probably know this kid. We don't know the background.
Well, she said, like, do you live down the street? He said, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he does live on their street. I don't know. I guess the question is like, why did this kid do it? Is it a lack of discipline and telling them not to go to people's houses like that? Or is it that maybe there's something at home and, like, again, I'm not going to immediately cast any suspicions on the kid himself because this falls on the parent. If it's a lack of discipline, do not go up to random people's houses and ask for food.
It's a lack of discipline because they didn't know him. Like, it's one thing if this is a neighbor you know. ND Will says, allergic. Brett with such a millennial take. Kid comes asking me for food. He gets
you are fighting today.
What he's getting, if he's got allergies, that's his problem. It's your problem if something happens to him.
You're arguing with Chad a lot today.
Yes, I am. We're having a back and forth. Arguing implies something more. I don't think you give them food unless you know the parents.
Right. But the idea, I would probably have asked, oh, sweetie, like, you know, where are your parents?
He was very polite.
Yes. Yeah, I guess my first question would have been like, oh, sweetie, are your mom and your daddy around? Like, is there somebody I can talk to really quick before I give you food? That's my first question as an adult is like, one is... the first one would be, you know, hey, where are your parents? For 2 reasons. Mm-hmm. 1, I guess allergies, safety concern. 2, you live on the street, right? Okay, which house is yours? Okay, you know, where are your parents, hon? Like, you okay? Like, where are your parents? Because I want to make sure the kid's safe and it's not like something happened to his parents and they're not there and he's home alone and he doesn't have food and he's like, you never know what the situation is. So just asking basic questions to make sure that a child is safe should be first and foremost your first thing you do. As an adult, you check to make sure that the kid is okay. And after you know that, you can make an assumption on that. You can give Now, let's say you give the kid food. Maybe you figure out what house he's at. You go to that house the next day and you say, hey, look, your kid was really nice about it, but he did come to my house and ask for food. It felt a bit discourteous as a neighbor. I would never expect my kids to do that. So there's ways to go about it without it being, you know, a huge deal. Posting it online is super weird, by the way.
There's, I don't know how that came out.
That's weird.
High Voltage 75 says, Brett, why do you hate Ohio? Is it because your wife is a Michigander? I don't hate Ohio. I guess by the very nature of being married to a woman from Michigan, I have to give Ohio some crap, but I'm ambivalent on Ohio. I was not a fan of the 65, like the speed limit being so low.
Yes, and then they are vultures there. Their state police are vultures for out-of-state plates, and so they love to pull you over. You got to be very careful. It's very flat and very boring. My biggest problem with Ohio is how boring it is to drive through. And also, it's just in my blood as a Michigander. But the biggest thing is that it's very boring to drive through. Mark, who works here, he's from Illinois, and he'll drive back every so often. And he has said Ohio is the worst part of his drive. I asked him that. I didn't even bring it. I was just like, how was the drive? He's like, everything was fine. Really hate driving through Ohio, though. I didn't even bring it up. And he was just like, really hated driving through Ohio. And I was like, fair. So.
Weary Traveler says, the proletariat demands justice for burned oils.
What happened to burned oils?
I don't know. Is Burned Oils not in the chat right now?
I thought he was here.
I can't tell.
Burned Oils.
Oh, he's right down there.
What happened? Hi, buddy.
Burned Oil says, the only person I wouldn't feed would be Brett. I'd say, Brett, you're paid enough doing the PCC show. Get your own food. I would, you know, there's no such thing as too much free food.
True.
We've got another one here from ND Will. Says, I've been watching The Sopranos a lot lately, so I just gotta just hassle y'all. My bad. I was just playing.
No, I was on Brett for being argumentative, not you. We expect chat to be a bit argumentative, but Brett has been particularly argumentative with chat today.
No, I've been particularly argumentative with ND Will today.
Well, I wasn't going to call it out. I was just going to say chat and call you out specifically and not him. But if you're saying it, yeah, we've still got some time, you guys, if you want to send super chats, or we can just shoot the shoot.
I do not hate Ohio per se. I do not. Mike says I'd hate Ohio too.
It's just a bit boring. It's a bit flat. There's a lot of great things to do in Ohio. Like, there's a lot of places I've seen. I'm like, man, that's in Ohio. But to get to them, like, yeah, no.
What is it here? Dingus Khan says, Brett just hates Wisconsin like a good Minnesotan. I'm ambivalent about Wisconsin. We drove through Wisconsin.
We went to Minnesota once. Not bad.
I live, like, where I lived in Minnesota is fairly close to, like, I lived in Woodbury, Minnesota, so I was like 10 minutes from Hudson, so I was on the border of Wisconsin at that time. So yeah.
And your brother lives right there. Did you say that? I'm sorry. Did you say your brother lives there?
He lives in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Yep. Mike says, Bert don't want this heat. He know the chat is his kryptonite.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised. Normally he doesn't want me to be too involved with the chat during the show, and then he was doing it really bad
No,
today.
I was doing it in between segments. It's not the same thing.
Well, how am I supposed to know?
Yeah. It's about whether it
He didn't
it
give
affects
me
the
you
the
can do either
conversation.
or. He just said don't.
Yep. Dingus Khan says Ohio has nice rest stops on the turnpike. That is true.
Yeah, but you have to pay to use them, basically. Paying to use the turnpike is paying to use the rest stops on the turnpike.
Yeah. Meaning like the ones we always see when we go to and from because we have the Easy Pass?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, those are always super expensive.
Oh my God, they're so expensive.
Like everything there.
They
is
are
super
nice
expensive.
though. They are nicer than a lot of other ones. I will give them that, but you know.
Weary Traveler says Bert and Olive.
Oh,
she hates olives.
I hate olives so much.
Yeah.
The worst. I hate how they smell. I hate everything about them.
Olives are amazing.
They smell so bad.
Let's see if we've got. I'm gonna go back over here and check and see what is going on Rumble right now.
I love
Broody
you, Rumble,
Gambit
but
says
no.
Ohio is terrible. Broody Gambit says nothing good comes from Ohio. Yeah, that is the way it is there. Okay, so what do you guys got coming up Discord wise? Do you have any events coming up?
Events, I don't know. I'm trying to think about what we got. We got poker every week, low stakes poker. That is hosted by a whole group of people on Saturday night. They're going to be restarting karaoke in the next couple weeks. That'll be in the Discord as well. Other initiatives we have going, staff engagement, bringing in the boonies, bringing in PCC. And we've got, man, I got to think about that. We got a new history show coming up that I'm very excited for.
Tell us about it.
Well, it's going to be their first show, so I haven't seen it yet. But what I can tell you is it's going to be 2 members of the community doing a show that is relevant to history. I think part of it's like a trivia portion and learning about different historical eras. I'm very excited. 2 history guys are taking charge on that. And I'm trying to think about what else we've got working on. Got to go through and just see. Got an active voice chat right now. Shout out voice chat. Shout out Brian in the voice chat. We've got After Dark, which is every single day. So you guys, if you call in and talk to Tim, which you can do by joining the Discord, you can call in the Uncensored Show. If Brett's there, you can also talk to Brett. People like to take that time to tell him to give me a baby. Just, do what you will with that information. That's when they get to do it. And he's like, ugh. And you can ask Tim questions, ask the guest a question if you're a fan of the guest that night. You get to talk to the cast and crew, and then after, you can hang out with community members. We are working on so many different projects, but Tate is hilarious. Tate has a mailbag in there. You can go and be like, hey, Tate, I have a question. People keep using it for not that, and it's really making me mad. But go in, send a question for Brett, a question for Tate. Go and do that, you guys. It is so fun. I am in charge of that whole thing. It is my domain. When I'm not here, I am doing stuff for the Discord or otherwise helping company, different initiatives of the company, different processes. Is Ian still around? Yes! And Ian's going to be, hopefully, fingers crossed, in the Discord more often. And you know who I hear? A little birdie told me, and I can't give details, is going to be in the Discord more often. Josie, the redheaded libertarian. Little birdie has given me that information. I can confirm it. So if you like Josie, if you like Ian, if you like Phil, because he'll be back, and he was big in the Discord before he went on tour. Phil is there. We're getting Brando in there more. We are getting, let's see, who else am I trying to get in there more often? Don't ask for Mary. Not doing that because you guys are too degenerate. That's to the Discord, not chat. Let's see. Manic Mustache said, hot take, George Foreman grill is plastic panini press.
I ended the poll because I was requested to.
That
Good
just
call.
avoided the... I see you, Manic Mustache.
52% of you say no. There should be no child-free dining. And
Seriously,
48%
grow up.
That was
Grow
a
up.
pretty...
That was pretty even. We've had a lot of even splits lately. ND Will, I'm going to write in and ask Brett to teach me how to roller skate. If you call it roller skating, he's not going to do it.
Don't. Roller skating
He's
is the wheels are on.
blading.
Yes, it's not the same thing.
He blades.
But you can go to the general chat. I missed yesterday, but I've been trying to check the general chat every day as much as I can.
Ooh, another one. A 20 from Brian Bledsoe. Thank you. Unsurprising that current music acts won't risk their career because of who is in the Oval Office. Well, if it were the other way around, it would have been more diverse politically because it would have been about the country, not the current politics. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with you.
Who would be your gold standard lineup for?
I don't even know. I'm trying to think of people that are very like, you think America, you think of these artists, right? Mm-hmm. You know what? It's going to be out of nowhere. Uncle Kracker.
Another Michigander, right?
Yes, but that's not why. It's more just because he's got some bangers, and I like Uncle Kracker. That's right. I'm a sleeper Uncle Kracker fan. You know what I want? I know this would be really hard logistically to do. I want every one-hit wonder we can find. Stick them in there and have their biggest song be sang, and then they can go. It's not even a long time commitment. That would be fun. I think we could have, let me look up, who else?
Oh, the Vanilla Ice one is interesting. He's got to get the work. It's good for him.
I thought that was really... Luke Bryan's a good one. I mean, people are obviously going to go country every time they hear pro-America, but that's not even the case.
I'm surprised no Jason Aldean on there.
Jason Derulo.
Yeah. Well, he's not a one-hit wonder, though.
He's another person you could put in there that have been most people know their name. So the idea is, who do most Americans know, right? That's the idea. Who's kind of peak American that most people know? And you guys are going to be like, well, you would Taylor Swift. No, I don't want her to do that. I actually don't.
Wait, why not?
I don't think that's her vibe. I don't think an outdoor, all-American kind of festival type concert is a Taylor Swift vibe. That's more Sabrina Carpenter vibe, and I wouldn't say that either. Because we're talking timeless American classics, and they're on the road to maybe being that, but they're not that yet. So, that's not... Don't want to do that. Let me look through. I'm looking through my songs right now. Nicki Minaj. How do you not get Nicki Minaj?
probably
Where's
busy.
Nikki?
She's probably busy.
I've been yelling a lot today. I would love Nicki Minaj. I want Nicki Minaj.
That
to
is
sing.
surprising they wouldn't try to. Granted, this was probably booked well before she made this.
You can add
coming out of
her
sort.
on. Okay, bring on Nikki. We love Nikki here. I mean, you might not, but I love Nikki here.
I'm ambivalent about.
Maybe
Nicki.
some of the people that used to be really big that are making comebacks, like a Hillary Duff, give her a set, give her a little bit. Look, I'm trying to get something for everybody. So maybe you have a day dedicated to the girls and the gays because they're still Americans. Maybe you get a day dedicated to the boomers.
But it's one day, right? The celebration is, or is it 2 days? don't
No,
know.
I think it's like a lineup through multiple weeks.
What for that thing?
Maybe I could be tarded.
I'm like double checking here. I thought it was yeah, June 25th through July 10th.
Yes.
Wow.
You know what? I got it. One song only. Actually, we'll give her 2 songs. JoJo Siwa. I want Betty Davis Eyes, and I want Karma. That's it, with the dance.
They can do that.
That dance. Let's see what else. A lot of people I like aren't even American, so I'm trying to go through and be like, who's American that could kind of fit the bill here?
Okay, I'm sorry.
What's his name? Lee Greenwald or whatever, who sings God Bless the USA. Where's he? Michael Boo. Oh, no, he's Canadian.
South Spinach says Vanilla Ice and Milli Vanilli should merge. Vanilla, Milli Vanilli. How do you fuck that up? It's Milli Vanilla.
Milli
What are you
Vanilla.
talking about, dude?
Yep.
It's just ridiculous here. ND Will says Taylor Swift is the last American artist that was something Brett said a long time ago.
Did you?
I mean, if it sounds as smart as that.
I
then
think
it
you
probably
have a
is.
day for some pop stars, or you throw in a pop star every time because that is a very American thing. It's like a pop star. It could be Meghan Trainor. It could be. I really don't think Taylor Swift would be good. Someone wants MIA. She could sing Paper Planes for you.
Meghan Trainor is not anywhere near.
But I'm talking
important
about
enough
like
to put on
like
that
a
stage.
like a pop star person.
Leave Meghan Trainor out of it.
Look, some of her
There will
music
be no
works.
swing, whatever her genre of garbage is. My personal opinion.
It's an aggressive opinion.
Yeah.
Brett woke up and chose violence today. Brett's like, I don't know what is up with him today. That's okay though. Luke Combs would be great. Again, he's country. Did Toby Keith die? He died, right?
Yes.
Okay, well, he would have been great too. Let's see. We have it from Sean21683. What is the best plug for PCC? Giving it the way you think Trump would. Oh, giving it the way you think Trump would. I can't do a Trump impression. I wish we had someone here
We
that
need
could do it.
Tim on to do that.
They're the best. I've known a lot of pop culture crisis actors in my time, and these are the best ones. These PCCs are the best of PCCs. High Voltage 75. Carrie Underwood. That is a great one. Kelly Clarkson.
yeah.
Kelly Clarkson.
Well,
she won American Idol. First American
but
Idol.
Carrie Underwood did the inauguration,
Yes,
right?
but
so Carrie Underwood
you
is a
get the
good one.
first American Idol who, like, they knocked it out of the park on that first one with Kelly Clarkson, man. Like, say what you will about her as a person. She is talented. Very, very, very talented. Like, she is. Just straight up talent. I wonder if they could get Beyonce to do some Cowboy Carter. That would get the girlies to come out.
We did a thing the other day, like when we were prepping the show. I couldn't name 5 Beyonce songs. I couldn't.
NSYNC. That was like peak 90s, 2000s American culture.
Yep.
Like I'm saying, if you can find those big ones, but yes, Carrie Underwood and Kelly Clarkson would be both incredible gets. They would be so good. Especially if you're doing it for like multiple weeks. We need Natalie and what is her name? Imbruglia to sing Torn.
It's too art.
Just Torn.
nerd.
Just Torn.
Nah.
Just Torn. That's it. That's all I want.
I'd rather they had.
I'm saying for like a one hit. Sarah Bareilles.
She's not a one-hit wonder though.
No,
She
but we gotta bring Sarah Bareilles in.
Stay by Lisa Loeb.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Oh, we're almost done now.
Yeah,
Whoa.
we're almost
Hello.
done. All right, guys. Before we go, I can't name 5 Beyonce songs. That's
There is.
the thing is like a bunch
Texas
of
Hold'em, Single Ladies.
if I
see,
was a boy.
If I was a
That-
boy.
I only remember that because we
Just
were literally looking at this the other day.
Don't say anymore. I'm gonna think of them. It's like a test. Your brain just goes bloop. And any other day, I could name you like 10 Beyonce songs. Single Ladies. Oh, no, no, that's Rihanna. Rihanna's Pon de Replay, not not Beyonce. I don't know.
Girls, we run the world.
Is that her?
That's her.
I don't.
I only remembered this because we did.
I have to look now.
And then
'cause
you
I'm
look
like-
up, if you look up her songs, half the songs that are listed are Destiny's Child songs. Everybody remembers the Destiny's
Love on
Child
Top. Love on Top is a good one. Crazy in Love. Okay, see, I do know more.
Crazy
It's
in Love
just-
is probably her most famous to me. Like
Yeah.
to me, that's the one I think of when I think of her.
Yeah. Let's see. So it's Halo. Halo's a big one.
I think so. When we were trying to do this, Crazy in Love and Halo were the ones that I named, and the only reason I even named Halo is because it like came up in the context of like some topic recently.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have remembered the name.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Before we go, would you hit the like button on this episode and subscribe? Did you say Umbrella?
That's they said Umbrella was Rihanna.
Oh, did you
I
say
didn't
Umbrella?
say it. No, they're talking
yeah,
about
Umbrella's
Rihanna.
Rihanna. Yeah, okay. Guys, hit the like button on this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Share the episode out with everybody and help us grow. It's the best thing you can do for us. Thank you so much. And Olivia, where can they find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me in a couple places. First, personally, if you'd like to follow me, that is on X and Instagram at Olivia Dasovic. If you want to join the Discord server, as you should, if you're a member at timcast.com or become a member at timcast.com, go to timcast.com/Discord. It'll bring you right to the invite for our members-only exclusive server, and you can join there. We've got a ton of stuff going on. We got a lot of new people coming in. You can hang out with me. You can hang out with Shane H. Wilder. You can hang out with Brett. You can hang out with anybody you want. I don't know why I'm pitching it this way. Just figured maybe a change up would work. So you guys should do that, and you get more mocha. That's what the people want. That's what the people get. But other than that, you guys, I will be back on Tuesday for another episode.
All right, guys, if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can also rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which is a great way to help us out. So thank you guys so much for that. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We will see you on Friday. Bye, everybody.
Bye.